Happy Friday, everybody. Thank you so much for downloading or streaming the Be Our Guest podcast. It's the OG crew today. Ricky and Pam join me, and we do our best. You got three extroverts trying to give advice for introverts to have a good time on their next Walt Disney World vacation. Good news. The Discord server, our Be Our Guest podcast clubhouse, came through with lots of great suggestions. So we're talking attractions, resorts, transportation options, restaurants where our introverted friends are going to thrive on their next trip down to Walt Disney World. So see how we did, and then come by the clubhouse and give your suggestions as well. Don't forget, today's podcast always brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel. We'd love to help you plan your next Disney adventure for no additional cost to you and get some goodies along the way. So check out all the details today over at themagicforless.com. Please also use our Amazon affiliate link when you shop online. That one extra click supports everything we do throughout the year. It's beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. And thank you so very much to our Patreon supporters. You guys make the show possible. So a huge shout out to each one of you. You can support us as well, just $5 a month. And for that support, you get a bonus show called Mike in the Midwest. Come over this week. We'd love to have you. Patreon.com/beourguestpodcast.
Ready to take a trip to the world? You found the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. This is where your memories come front and center on our podcast stage.
Welcome to episode 2661 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from beourguestpodcast.com and one of the senior agents here at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Friday to you. Hope you had a great week and are getting ready for an awesome weekend. And if you're a basketball fan, yes, you are immersed in March Madness. We are going to give you some madness here on the show, because you have three main characters, three extroverts, talking about where introverts can thrive down at Walt Disney World. This is the opposite of last Friday's show. Last Friday we talked about, where folks like us, we step into the spotlight. We love when the attention is drawn to us on a Walt Disney World vacation. We get to interact with fellow guests. We get to maybe show off little dancing talents. One of the places I didn't mention last week, and I didn't even see it mentioned in the clubhouse, and I was disappointed in this, and I feel bad for not saying this, and I'm going to throw this in real quick because I can't believe we didn't say this. Yeehaw Bob's show over at the River Roost. Dude, I've always been, because Bob and I are kind of friends, through the years. I'm always drawn into being the bird in the nest, and the nest, and the tree, and the tree, and the all that. I have to be the guy that runs around the River Roost. And I'm telling you what, man, if you haven't filled your rings that day on your Apple Watch, by the end of that song, your activity ring is full. It's wild. That's one of the places that an introvert would be like, woo, be careful. Be careful. Can an introvert see Yeehaw Bob and thrive? Let's kind of get into that real quick.
I feel like if you sit all the way in the back,
maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know, because Bob could peg you.
I know he could, but I still feel like you got a better shot all the way in the back.
Yeah, if you're up front, you're going to be in the show. 100% in the show. But anyways, this is one of those things I can't believe it. Like I was like, let me tell you one other thing about the podcast. This is just, again, I'll get the ladies introduced. This is how my brain works. This is how Mike in the Midwest. If you're a patron, this is like 30 minutes of Mike. I just talk about stuff like this. I lay in bed after we do our shows. So we record them on Mondays. So this is my Monday night ritual. I lay in bed and I just think about, okay, did I edit it okay? Did I think? And then, 2:37 in the morning, I'll say, I forgot to say that on the show for Friday. Every time. I'm just like, and then it's a whole week and I'm just like, dang it. I had a great point I should have made, and we've done 2,700 shows and I've forgotten 3,748 things that I should have said. And I said dumb stuff instead, but you guys are still here. It's a miracle. But speaking of here, my two friends are here. Ricky from a DisneyWorldAfterAll.com and the Mouse for Less. She's like, come on, let's get this going. Ricky, what's up? Happy Friday. Any big plans? I know leprechauns were not had this week. So what's going on?
Well, first of all, yep, you say dumb stuff. So there's that. I just had to throw that in.
My
just
jam.
had to needle that in. Right there. As far as this weekend, I don't think we have anything really big planned, which is good. So it'll be nice to have a nice like solid weekend of nothing, which is fantastic. So just hanging out with my fam is going to be key for this weekend. So
That's an underrated thing. Just
yeah,
weekend where you can just chill. I mean, as much as we all love going to Walt Disney World, cruising and stuff like that, those weekends where you stay home and don't have anything to do, no sports games to attend, anything like that, just sit home and just watch some TV with your family, friends, good stuff. That's what I'm doing.
It's nice. So we'll probably watch an episode of Dateline or two, and and that'll be our weekend because we go hard on Dateline on the weekends. So I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, sports has a great opportunity to ruin my weekend this weekend.
No, we just like to watch about people getting murdered. It's fine.
Well, that's how you roll. That's awesome. All right, Pam Forster, she's co-owner of the Magic for Less Travel out in Pennsylvania. Pam, big plans for the weekend. What's headed your way? Happy Friday.
I think we're getting into the springtime, which, my family's big into the gardening and landscaping. We love all that. So when we got a breath of warm weather last week, we were already out. There were things we were doing. I told Steve, these are the projects that I've lined up for this spring. These are the things we have to do. But I love that. I love a good home project. I'm like, we need some trellises here. We need the landscapers to come back and do some stuff here. We need, this to happen here. So he's helping me make plans for that. But I love this time of year too. The weather's wild, right? You can go from like a 75-degree day to a 22-degree day, back and forth. But spring, there's something about spring, right? You start to see the sun more. You are like, I can make it. I'm going to make it through this winter. I know I am.
You're so eternal.
Close. Yes. I'm like, yes. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. So anyways, it's coming.
So, we've been doing the show. We're in our 18th year at this point. And there was a few seasons ago where you had excessive, was it zucchini? And where you were just like, you were like wanting to, we were trying to raffle it off here on the podcast. Like for anybody in the Northeast, are you still planting that, or what's going in the garden this year?
Yes. So we're definitely, we plant a lot of squash because for those of you who don't know, if you harvest them and keep them in a cool, dark place, they'll last throughout the winter. So, but not zucchini, but let's say butternut and spaghetti and things like that will last throughout the winter. Zucchini, we had so much last year that we had to come up with a way of dealing with it. And Hannah found this recipe for zucchini tots. And I know, right?
I like my tots. I like my tots tater. That's my tot. My tots are always tater.
You would like the zucchini tot. If you like the tater tot, you would like the zucchini tot. It's not fried or anything. It's baked, but they're good. They're good tots.
You just lost Mike. First of all, it's not tater. Right? Yeah. Second, it's not fried. He's out.
Remember, I'm Mike in the Midwest. Fried and tater.
We have to find something to do with them. And after we give zucchinis to all the people we can, we still I feel like a responsibility to use these vegetables in a way. I don't know. So anyways, we did that. We had two, this is more gardening talk than people probably want, but we had two big recipe wins last year. It was the zucchini tots, and it was also a roasted sheet pan, tomato sauce. You all get into the season where you have so many tomatoes ripening at once. You cannot eat that many tomatoes.
Yes.
As much as I like a red fresh tomato, this is not. So we found this recipe where you roast tomatoes and garlic and onions and some other things, and you put it in the blender. Then you put it in Ziploc bags and freeze it, and you can pull it out to do sauce, tomato soup with it. You just have to finish it off a little differently when you bring it up. But we just had one yesterday. I made tomato soup with it. It's the best tomato soup in the world. So anyways.
That sounds amazing.
There's things you didn't know about Pam for 800.
Hey, I mean, we're all friends, all thousands of us together here. We're all friends. All right, speaking of friends, we're trying to help out our introvert friends here. And we're having a good time. We had this discussion went all week over in the clubhouse, beourguestpodcast.com/clubhouse, the Discord server. We talked about extroverts. In the introverts and the extroverts, we're divided 50-50 over there, basically. The folks who tend to think of themselves more as extroverted and introverted. And we had a great time with this conversation in the current BOGP discussion channel, just talking about what attractions lend themselves to certain types of people, what restaurants, what resorts, even what shows. It was so fun because you could just picture how different people perceive these experiences. Because I think I admit, when I was a teacher, I remember our principal made our staff take this personality profile, like during a week one year, the orientation week, when you come back before the kids. And it was just a fun thing because I came out as the most extroverted person on our 89 person staff, because you took the thing on the first day, they scored it, and then we, she put it up on this is how old I am, like on the overhead projector, and showed okay, this is the most extroverted person on our staff, and they had to guess who it was. They pegged me. Boom. And I had the exact same score as the principal. We were the exact same score. So I can't see things from an introverted person's point of view, but I like to hear it because I love learning about other people and seeing things through their eyes. So today we're going to try to do that and talk about things that we think introverted people would enjoy the most because, even Paige, she is not a main character. She is more the kind of person that will let the vacation come to her. So you need to think about that when you're traveling with other folks. You want everybody to have a good time, and not everybody's going to want to get up on stage and, do the dance. Not everybody's going to buy churros for the whole, Monsters Inc. laugh floor.
My
do the
husband
dance.
is also the introverted character
That
in
cracks
our
me
family.
up, though. That's
Yeah, I mean, he can be extroverted when he needs to be, but he would rather be introverted. So,
Brother Brian. Okay, well, so
yeah.
Ricky, start us off though. What do you think? Give us something where an introvert thrives at Walt Disney World. Something they would enjoy.
So I feel like I'm cheating because I was just kind of perusing the Discord boards, and it wasn't on purpose. It was just popping up on my phone today, and Scott totally stole some of mine. So thanks, Scott. I'm not cheating off of you. I promise I had these on my own. So I just want that to be out there. But my first one was one that he mentioned, and it was People Mover. The People Mover is such a huge introvert attraction. I mean, you get to sit there for 10 minutes in while you're listening. You can kind of unwind a little bit. That's usually a place where I go to unwind. Yes, I pay attention to the attraction, but sometimes it might be where you find me on my phone, just kind of, taking everything in and just relaxing. So that's a huge spot where I can just go and kind of recharge even myself as an extrovert. You need that time to recharge for sure. And the People Mover was absolutely one of mine because, it's just, you're constantly moving, you've got the airflow. It's just such a great attraction. And it's certainly an introvert perfect attraction.
Yeah, especially a car by yourself, feet up, right?
Car by yourself, feet up. It's I miss the days though when you could just say loop me around again, because now you definitely have to get off the attraction and get back in line if you want to loop around again. Those were the days though. Those were the days. I miss those days. Yeah.
All right, we're gonna try to get a bunch in. Pam Forrester, let's go. What you got?
All right. So what's so funny about myself is when I think about whether I'm an extrovert or an introvert, I actually think I'm an extroverted introvert.
I get that.
Because I need some time to some downtime. And it doesn't have to be alone, but it would have to be with people I really know and trust. It can't be with a bunch of people I don't know. I can recharge either by myself or with people I'm really familiar with.
I get that 100%. Yeah,
that's true.
Yes. So anyways, but here's the thing I was thinking of, and this is actually something that we occasionally do when we're at the World. There are places now at select table service restaurants where you can order that food to go. So at Kona, you can order Kona food to go. At Ale and Compass, you can order Ale and Compass food to go. And it's table service meals, but you can have it back in your room. And I think it's there are some days where I'm okay, I don't want to hear another person, or whatever. So we'll do that. We'll go pick up dinner and take it back to our room if we're, in a room where that makes sense for us to do. But I think that's something to look at. Most of the deluxe restaurants at the location. You can also do it, I think, at Sanaa and a
Yes.
few other locations. But I think
not
that's
a
a
lot.
great option. It's not a lot, but I think
But it's a great
most of the deluxes have it. Like Steakhouse 71, you can too. So
Ooh,
you
I
just have
didn't
to
know
look
that.
and see there. But it makes sense if you're staying there, you can
Yeah.
do that, take it back to your room, maybe put on the TV, do a little decompressing, and move on then the next day.
Especially if you have if you're staying in villa accommodations, right? Because you have the whole
Yes.
kitchenette and you got the whole setup. I mean, that's just like Old Key West or something. You could eat on
I
the
think
picnic
Olivia's
table.
even do it.
Yeah, I mean, oh my gosh, how cool would that be to sit there like on the, because you got the whole little patio table,
Right.
look out over a golf course instead of, I mean, Olivia's a nice place, but it, it gets loud. You know what I'm saying? If you got
Yeah.
sensory issues
Yeah.
or something, man, you can just chill and have some buttermilk chicken. Oh, let's sign me up. Let's go. I'm an extrovert.
I
I'm in
know,
for the-
right? I want them to deliver.
I'm converting. I'm good. Hallelujah. I'm going to become an introvert because I want to do this. That sounds way better. You've already got me. I haven't even given mine. All right. So I'm going to go with a resort. I think the best resort for somebody to stay. I got a couple of resort things I want to talk about, but Fort Wilderness. And this was mentioned also in the Discord. But I mean, what a place to kind of get away from the hustle and bustle of Walt Disney World, right? You're still close to the Magic Kingdom, but you could get a cabin. And I mean, that's basically, you could really, I mean, it's glamping kind of, and the golf cart we've Jason and Scott, they were really talking a lot about looping. If you don't know what looping is, taking your golf cart and really just driving it around all the loops there to see the other campsites, with people, especially during the holidays. If you got Christmas or Halloween or something where people put up all the decorations, you can see everything that's going on, and it's really communal. But, you don't have to stop. I mean, if you're an extrovert, it's an extrovert's dream, right? Because you could stop and, be the mayor of Fort Wilderness if you want to be. But if you're an introvert, keep the pedal to the metal. You don't have to stop. Just bad. Nobody can stop you. Just, I guess, don't speed and get a ticket. But, I think that'd be a great place because it's, you have your space in a cabin and it's kind of back to nature. So I'd say that would be a good resort experience for an introvert. So Ricky, let's go again. Some other experiences we got.
All right, so I'm probably gonna steal one that's on Pam's list, and I'm sorry, but I feel like this is a great way to do this, and it kind of ties into hers of going, to one of the resorts or something like that in the middle of the afternoon to kind of get away. But this is actually going to be a visit to the resort for a lounge. I feel like, the lounges are such great places to kind of, again, get away. They're not as frequented, which is also nice. And, you can really just grab a drink or grab a small snack or whatever, and just kind of, again, decompress in a way that's helpful. Some lounges that I was thinking of, I was even thinking one of the places I was actually thinking of was Geyser Point, which is over at Wilderness Lodge, because you're sitting there by the water. That one is really nice. Of course, I was thinking about the Polynesian, the new Wailulu bar area there is great. It's a fantastic spot to kind of get away. Sometimes we'll go over to, if we want to get away from Epcot, we'll go over to Beach Club, Yacht Club, just kind of hang out there. You can even grab some ice cream from the Beaches and Cream to Go window. So that's an option too. Just, some areas where you can go to the boardwalk and grab some ice cream from the boardwalk ice cream parlor. You can grab maybe a sandwich from the boardwalk deli and sit there by the water, which is a great option too. It's just, there's some really great spots where you can go that are like lounges or quick service little spots. I'm thinking Gasparilla Grill as well at the Grand Floridian, because you can sit out there by the water. Really, a lot of my spots involve water. I feel like any spot that you can just
peaceful.
sit by water,
Yeah,
it's just
peaceful.
super peaceful, and a great spot for kind of introverted kind of sitting and relaxing and just being. So
I like it. All right, Pam,
Yeah.
What else? Because I want to get a lot of these in just so people, because I mean, some of these will work out well. Some of these might be at the hotel you're staying at on your next stay, and you're like, oh, I didn't think about trying that out.
I think that one of the best resorts for an introvert really has to be the Wilderness Lodge. There are just so many places that you can find throughout the lodge, first of all, to just sort of hang out, sitting places and whatnot. But I think the music itself sort of lends itself
Yes.
to that, right? It does. And the being outside there too is really part of that experience too. You're sort of like with nature, right? With that, you have the trees and the rocks and the waterfall and all of that. But the Wilderness Lodge is just so peaceful and recharging, I think, like any time of day. So,
And I'll throw in, I think Paul said it over in the Discord earlier this week, was that if you really just want to just chill, you need some decompression time. Up on that second or third floor, there's that hidden fireplace, not the big fireplace down in the main lobby, but that one that kind of it's hidden away there. Man, I've gone up there and sat, and I've actually fallen asleep. Like, it's so peaceful up there because you got the background loop playing. Because I remember I fell asleep and like a custodial person was vacuuming and like ran me in the foot, and that's how I woke up. I was like, "Excuse me, sir." I was like, right in my foot. But I mean, I needed to wake up anyway. I was really tired. But probably thought I was homeless or something. But I was staying there. Or I think I was at the Magic Kingdom that day as a pop or something. But anyway, I was just saying, it puts you out because it's so peaceful up there. I was next to a fireplace with that background loop. It's like, ambient or something. It was crazy. But that's a great place to go in that hotel. It is just, there's something about it. And I will say too about Wilderness Lodge, if you're up there, and this is kind of weird too, because I was talking about the background loop, but there's the white noise of Wilderness Lodge lobby, just the coming and going of people I know Whispering Canyon is going to be going through a refurbishment for a brief time, but just kind of the clanging of the silverware and the noise down there. Like, there's something calming to me about just the sounds of like the lifeblood of a lobby of a Walt Disney World hotel. Like, I like it. I don't know if you guys are like that. Maybe I'm weird, but I like the sounds of like the energy. It's not like a displeasant sound. It's just a kind of like a Disney white noise to me.
I love this is one of my favorite sounds in the world. I love a hotel lobby. I love hearing it. Like, it's like white noise to me. It's very soothing. It's not frenetic to me. It's just a cool thing always.
All right, so here's a couple that my friend listener Chris from Columbia, Missouri, who listens to our show over in the Discord threw in. I thought this was super interesting. He said one of the things that might be good for an introvert is to take a beer break over at Tap House. If you're in the studios and it gets crazy and busy, go in there. It's kind of a smaller venue. Just kind of cut loose. Just have a drink. I thought that was interesting. And he said for an attraction, Space Mountain, because of the world, because you're sitting in this one-on-one. You're not.
Yeah.
You don't have to sit next to anybody to interact, which I thought, I never really thought about that. That's pretty good idea.
Yeah, I agree. I like both of those.
Now we had it. Somebody also said, is Magic Kingdom the worst park for introverts? And they also said Studios is the best because of all the shows. Like, because an introvert can go see shows and kind of sit in the back. And see, back in the day with Citizens of Hollywood, I thought Studios would have been the worst for introverts because you get pegged when you go in, like especially like rope drop. I mean, like if you're just walking down Sunset, like, oh, look at that walk, Mike Rallman, you're the star. Walk the red carpet, or 100 times I got pegged, and that's like an introvert's worst nightmare. They don't have that anymore, so maybe it's not. But is Magic Kingdom? I don't know if that's the worst for introverts. Maybe.
I mean, it's probably the most stressful because it's probably the most crowded.
Just because there's a lot going on, possibly.
Yeah, maybe.
But there are a lot of places where you can sort of find places to be quiet. Like, think about it. You have People Mover, you have Carousel Progress,
Right.
You have Tiki Birds, you have things like that.
You have a Country Bear Jamboree.
Yeah. Well, not anymore. Since they
that's
redid
true.
it.
It's super busy.
People love it.
Yeah, they do.
It's so popular now. I'm so glad to see that. But
me too. Yeah.
Yeah, I know it's hard. But Magic Kingdom probably is. There's always people there, just tons.
Yeah. I mean, I mean, I guess it's more, I don't know if it's like, see, again, it's hard how you define introvert, right? I mean, is it more of you just don't like being around a lot of people as a kind of like a claustrophobia kind of thing? Or,
right.
Is it more you just, because again, I'm extroverted, so I love the interaction with people. If I'm standing in line, I love talking to people and that kind of stuff. So, Ricky, what else do you got? Something else, another experience for introverts?
Yeah. So I feel like mobile order is probably a
Yes.
really good thing for
'Cause you're cutting out,
introverts.
yeah, you're totally cutting out a whole interaction right there.
Exactly. You don't have to deal with going up to the counter, trying to figure out what you want that's on the board, and you've been looking at the board for 20 minutes while you
Would you
waited in
like
line.
cheese with
But then
that? How about tartar sauce?
but then you get up to the front and you're like, I don't know what I want. And you sit there and you're like, oh gosh, I want, So like I feel like you get to knock all that out and you can just put your order in and get it the way you want it, which is fantastic as well. And then go along your merry way when they, call your number out and tell you, hey, your food is ready in the app. So even that's handy for you. But then I also feel like, kind of tying in with that, there's also the dining check-in for table service restaurants, which got rolled out a few years back. And again, this is super handy for people who don't want to, go up and say, I'm here to check in at my table. All you have to do is get a notification on the app. Hey, your time it's ready for you to start checking in. I think it's like 15 or 20 minutes before your ADR starts. You put in, how many people, whether you're celebrating anything, if you have any allergies, anything like that. And then boom, they say your table is ready. And then all you have to do is say, I'm here. And then they'll just, seat you. So that part's helpful too, I feel like. So that's really handy.
I have a hot take on that one though, because Texas Roadhouse has that. Okay, like where you do the
yes,
you get on the wait. So we join the wait list right before we leave home. Usually says like 15 or 25 minutes. Drive over there, and then you type in here on the text when you get there. We always go up to the stand just to let them know. We pretend like we did the text. I'm not sure if the text went through. My text, because I just want them to know that I'm here. You know what I'm saying? And we always get seated right away when we do that. So I still do that at Walt Disney World too. I just want to give them a heads up that I'm actually physically here so they see me. But again, I'm an extrovert, right? This is the whole extrovert introvert thing. If you're an introvert, you're probably not playing that game. You're probably like, I don't care if you see me. I like being invisible. So that's probably the whole point of this. Pam Forrester, that's just how I roll. I'm getting to be an old person. Both. I'm bugging them. They're probably like, dude, you come here all the time. We know
we got your text. Don't worry about it.
Your text has been working since 2019. Quit bugging us. It works every week.
We know you're here. We got it.
Right? I know. So you know how we said that we thought that Magic Kingdom would be the most challenging park for an introvert? I think the easiest park for an introvert would be Animal Kingdom.
Okay. I agree with you.
I mean, there's just so many different things there. First of all, you have the two treks, the trails where you can walk through and see the animals and all of that. But in addition to that, there's those the trails that are around the Tree of Life too. And I will tell you, when we explore those, that you rarely encounter other people. It's sort of a rarity. It's weird because I don't think they do a good enough job of sort of guiding you, like saying, hey,
there's not a sign that says there's a trail here, go this way, there are animals down this path.
Yeah, right. Like there's the otters there, like that you can sort of see from the main path, but they don't really do a great job about that. But in addition to like the trails and treks you can do there, I think too some of their dining locations are just wide open. Like Flame Tree has that humongous seating area where you can see and do things. So there's that as well. I think that that's just the spot. That's the location I think that is going to be easiest to navigate.
And you could go out to Rafiki's Planet Watch. I mean,
yep.
So many people just avoid that area altogether. You can go out there, you can see the animals out there. Sometimes they have surgeries and stuff like that you can watch. Now, whether you want to watch that as an introvert, I don't know, but
pass.
yeah. Maybe avoid the surgery day. I don't know.
I'd pass out. I'd be like on the floor. I'd be like, oh.
Yeah, but there are it's a really great area to kind of just go and reset. And maybe if you need air conditioning, it's also a great area to just reset in the air too. So that part's good too.
Yeah, pass. No, no thanks. Okay, so here's one. This one, because I saw this on Audra mentioned this over in the clubhouse too, and I thought it was super interesting because I would think you would have to be super introverted for this to be an option. But I mean, again, we're all on the I've always thought as a teacher and as just a human being in the human race, like we're all on the spectrum at some point. Like, this is how it all works. And she said, you know, the option is you can watch the fireworks back at your hotel on the TV, and they do have they have the fireworks shows on your resort TV. Now, I've never
That's true.
watched them, but I know that this is an option for people that might have sensitivity to the fireworks, you know, especially for kids, and that is an option. So.
Now, I was actually, the fireworks was actually one of the things that were on my list. It wasn't watching it from the hotel though, but it was actually watching it from areas that are not as, you know,
the hub. The hub's for
yeah,
us
exactly.
extroverts.
Don't stand in the hub. Trust me, even as an extrovert, that is my worst nightmare. I'm
That
just
is
like,
me too. I'm just like, yeah, I'm an extrovert, but I mean, I'm an extrovert, but I'm not insane, but I do it
exactly. Please do not put me in the hub. So that's why a lot of times I don't end up seeing the fireworks, is because I just don't want to go near the crazy. But there are spots where you can see them. Like one of the really cool spots actually is over in Tomorrowland, kind of near Tron. It's a really cool view of the fireworks. I found it accidentally when I was standing over there one time, but it's a great view. It's obviously not, you know, the full view because you know the castle's off to the side, but it's still a unique view, and you still get the music and stuff like that. You can go to, you know, areas around Fantasyland that have great spots to watch, as well as there's areas in Adventureland. But just getting off the main path is going to be so key. And if for some reason you really, 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 really have to see the fireworks on Main Street, go to the very, you know, back by the train station. And I feel like, you know, so many people kind of crowd, obviously near the castle. The further back you get, the less that people kind of crowd. So if you really have to see them on Main Street and you're kind of more introverted, I would stand back by the train station.
And put a kid on your shoulders. That'll keep people from talking
Don't
to
do
you.
that. I mean, even I have a kid, and I don't
just kidding.
do that.
Especially if they're like 10.
Because I'm the size of a child, and I can't see over you putting your kid on your shoulder. So I can't see.
Nobody will speak to you if you put a 12-year-old on your shoulders and hoist them up like a all-star cheerleader. You know,
exactly.
Make it like a level 6 stunt at that point. Some of my cheer parents will get this. Okay, Pam, what else? What else we got going on? You know what? This is actually, I'm not kidding. I think Len mentioned it, and I think so, a few people mentioned it over in the Discord. That is an advertisement, though, for dessert parties, because it gets you, it gets you.
Absolutely.
You're buying a little space and a little,
100%.
quiet, and also some great desserts.
And I'll do it all day long. So I think I was thinking about mode of transportation that would work best for an introvert. And you know what I thought of? The minivans.
Oh, yes. Well, I mean, unless some of those drivers, though, you know what I'm saying?
They're chatty.
I mean, you're also, when you ride a bus, you can be next to an LSU fan. So you never, you know what I'm saying? I mean, and I love LSU fans, don't get me wrong, but man, they're talkative. So are Mizzou fans. I can't say anything.
But it is great. And the other thing I think that makes it so awesome is it's on your time, right?
Yes.
It's like when you want to go, where you want to go, all of those things. So yeah, I think that they should start using that as an advertising. Minivans, the transportation choice that most introverts, would make. So yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I'm just. Len mentioned it too. Like he says, and he's hanging out with us here, Len in Maryland, and over on YouTube as we're recording. And I think this is a great thing, is that he has an extroverted wife, and he tends to be on the introverted side, and his wife kind of runs interference for him. And I think that is, and I've seen this time and time again. I think that kind of opposites do attract. And my wife is not the star of the show. She's definitely not a main character. I have begged her to come on this podcast forever. Like I want to do a show, because WDW Today back in the day, I mean, this was like 15, almost 20 years ago at this point. They did an episode that I thought was the funniest episode. It was called the WDW Widows. And it was Matt, Mike, and Len's significant others. Like they didn't even get to do the show. Like they just brought in their 4 significant others. They had to sit to the side, and the other 4 did the podcast. Like they did the opening, they did all the talking, they gave advice for Walt Disney World, and it was great. I keep trying to tell Pam, like, Pam, we've done 2,700 episodes. It'd be hilarious if we could get you, Steve, Brian, and Elizabeth to do a podcast. We would have such great ratings. People would die for that. Nope. She won't even, she walks away from me. She will not do it. So, I mean, but when you have that kind of a relationship, like it balances you out on a Disney vacation, right? I mean, it's like you gotta, I'm not gonna walk her into a crazy experience because I love her. I'm not gonna put her in that kind of situation. But she also does, let me kind of step into the spotlight, and she'll take the pictures if I'm up on the stage at Indian.
It is interesting though, because she is a teacher as well, so you'd think that she'd have a little more of that extroverted side of her, but I guess not.
I think a lot of teachers, it's just a hot take, I think a lot of teachers are introverted. It's just
maybe,
they kind of step into their own in their classroom. But I think in their classroom they're comfortable. But I think if you get them outside the classroom, they freeze up. I see that a lot. Like a teacher doesn't like to have a microphone in their hand, but they like to be but they love having that control in the classroom. I've seen that a lot.
Interesting.
It's kind of an interesting dynamic. But that's education 101 here. Just Mike's philosophy on that. But I don't know. So we got a few minutes left. So do you guys have anything else on your list? I'm kind of exhausted here.
I mean, we mentioned live shows, but not like in great detail. So I feel like the live shows are going to be more key for guests who are more introverted to enjoy things, like Beauty and the Beast live on stage at Disney's Hollywood Studios. You got Finding Nemo the musical at Disney's Animal Kingdom. I would avoid maybe potentially the Festival of the Lion King. There is an audience participation part in that, so you might not want to do that one. But also the smaller shows at Epcot, the ones that are around World Showcase, you can kind of catch
like the guy
those.
With the whistle in Italy. Yeah, he might have.
Yeah, I mean, I would stand back so you're not involved in the show, but you can watch those shows as well, and they're very entertaining. There's the Encanto show that they have at Epcot as well that you can kind of sit back and you can interact as much as you would like to. Let's put it that way. So you can be as a part of the show, or you can sit back and kind of just watch the show. So that there are two options. So the introvert and the extrovert can have a good time at something like that.
That's a good point. Yeah, and Glenn also throws in, listening to Grayson at Casey's, who's the piano player there outside. Mm-hmm. That's very safe because I don't think he's going to get you up there dancing on top of his piano.
Probably not.
You know, Bob's going to have you up there doing a kick line, to New York, New York. I don't think you're going to be doing that outside of Casey's. So that's a good safe bet. Pam, what else? Getting kind of towards the end here. Any other suggestions?
Yeah, I think just some of the countries in Epcot really have some great locations. Like the United Kingdom has that garden area, and it has a few different areas sort of where you can sit and see. Morocco, I think, is another great one that has that. There's even some places in France every now and then where it's not quite as crowded outside of sort of that perfume area. There's some tables. Sometimes you can sit there. But most definitely in China, in Japan, there's different garden areas where you can sit. But I think that's the thing. You can find some space sort of away from the crowd, away from the craziness, and just sort of look at everything from like with an overview perspective, I think. And I think that's part of being an introvert in that space, is that, you like to be near the action maybe and not always in it and part of it. So.
All right. I think three extroverts, we did a decent job of suggestions. We'll see. I mean, it is kind of, it's hard to see it from the other perspective because, I seek out, I get my energy from being around other people. I think that's why I like the podcast, right? I mean, I love going to Walt Disney World and when somebody's like, hey, are you Mike? I mean, that makes my entire week. Like when I get a selfie with a listener, I can't tell you how excited I get. I always text it to Pam. I'm like, Pam, I got to meet another listener, my Pam, because, and I show you guys and everything. But I mean, it's like, when we do these shows, because when I'm doing it right now, I'm sitting in my basement in Paige's old bedroom. That's now the podcast studio. It's kind of a solo experience when you're recording the podcast. And then when folks come and say, oh, I listen to your show and I'm from Minnesota, or I'm from Washington State, or I'm from Ireland, or I'm from Australia or Japan. I mean, it totally boggles your mind. And
it does.
But I'm an extrovert, right? I mean, I just love that interaction where some people just head down, want to enjoy Walt Disney World and just, take it all in. Or I want to get out there and talk to people. So it's interesting, but let's continue the conversation again in the Discord because we've had a great week this past week and I want to continue it this weekend. So come on over and join us if you haven't. Hey, one of the places where an introvert could really enjoy something, it's the Clubhouse. I mean, you can get there. Yeah, it's beautiful. You just got a little screen name there and you get to meet friends. It's a beautiful place. Everybody's so kind. It's beourguestpodcast.clubhouse. It's free for everybody, and we just have a great time. So we'll see you over there this weekend. Don't forget our show is brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel. We'd love to help you get to your favorite place. Spring is a great time to plan a vacation, whether it's a cruise with Disney Cruise Line. So many great ships. The Fantasy, Pam talked about that on Friday or on Wednesday. I'm getting ready to sail the Magic with a bunch of our listeners in July. Scott's going to be sailing with us. Mike Bankhead. I can't wait. I think Bankhead and I are going to have a foosball tournament or something. Challenge, I think, is going to happen. I know something's going to happen like that.
That's getting intense.
Well, I know Paolo's going to happen twice. I can't wait. I've already booked that. Not that I'm thinking about that. Paolo on the Magic is one of the best experiences, I think, ever.
You know what? You're not wrong. Brian says that is his
favorite. Exactly.
No, yeah, right. Yeah, you are. But Brian says that is his favorite version of Paolo is actually the one on the Magic. And I'm sure the Wonder would be the same because they're, sisters.
Yes.
But we haven't sailed the Wonder, so the Magic is his favorite version of Paolo.
Correct. Brother Brian's correct. Correct.
Yes,
okay,
I'll let him know. I'll let him know he's right once in his life. It's
okay,
fine.
Good. The introvert, Brother Brian. Okay, and just saying, if you want to book a cruise with Magic for Less onboard credit, hey, Paolo could be on us. So let's just get it. Let's get it done this week. Walt Disney World, Disneyland as well. Check out all the details today over at themagicforless.com. Please also use our Amazon affiliate link when you shop online. When you purchase things, it does support the show each and every time. It really does help us out. beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. And thank you to our Patreon supporters. You make all this possible. Just $5 a month is what we ask for your support. And for that, in return, we give you an extra podcast called Mike in the Midwest. Come over this week. We'd love to have you. Patreon.com/beourguestpodcast. Give us a follow on the social media. I'm at beourguestmike. Ricky's at Ricky Nibs. Pam's at TMFLT Pam on all the social media. And don't forget, Sunday night, I'll be live and I'll be taking your calls. It's 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central. 5 places you can tune in: Facebook, YouTube, X, Instagram, or Twitch. Pick your place that you like and give me a call. We'll be talking Disney, all the latest Disney news. And so I'll be needing your calls because Scotty G, he'll be over in Alani living the life. So, and we might give him a call. We'll see. I might just spring a call on him because he'll be in the middle of the afternoon there. All right. So until we get back together again on Monday, I hope you guys have a great weekend. You guys stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you real soon.
You've been listening to the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. If you have questions, comments, or would like to be a guest on the show, please visit our website at beourguestpodcast.com. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you real soon.